Let me just finish fixing these names.
Yeah, no worries.
And the Muslim, kind of like a newcomer to like the tournament side of this, right?
A little bit. He played in the Winter Series 1, so he's obviously, made an attempt to play Age of Empires 4 competitively because he went through the signups. He wasn't an invited player, so nobody reached out to him to play. He decided for himself. So he might be trying to take it a little bit more, I don't know if serious is the right word, but at the very least, he's giving it a try, right?
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, we're
yeah,
gonna have. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's nice to see. But anyway, let's do MarineLord's intro up at the top.
Yeah, so we're gonna have up on the north. It is gonna be the Frenchman MarineLord, one of the best players right now in tournament and in competitive, sort of quick match play. He's gonna be playing as the Chinese in this Hill and Dale, and on the other side we're gonna have StarCraft 2 player, the Muslim, showing up on the red on the south, playing as the Holy Roman Empire.
Okay, well we just saw HRE versus English. How do you feel about HRE versus Chinese?
Chinese is one of those civilizations that I don't really understand too much because I'm not a very um, macro focused player. So a lot of the Chinese gameplay at the moment is centered around the officials. It is centered around building a strong economy that you can then leverage in whatever way you want, right? You can use it to build massive armies. You can use it to expand your production, and the first few minutes of the game look a lot like, just making sure that your macro is getting scaled up correctly for your mid game and late game. And Hill and Dale is one of those maps that works wonderfully for it because you're usually able to like wall yourself off or at least have a very defensive position so that you can do that sort of internal growth and then external expansion.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that the Muslim went to Hillendale when Chinese was on the table for MarineLord, but maybe he just feels very confident in this matchup.
Yeah. It is one of those things where if you get going with HIRE, you can have like some snowbally compositions with the Landsconnect and your men at arms are also really powerful. So eventually you can get to that point. The main problem is that if you're playing against the Chinese, you don't really want to get into the very late game when you're just literally exchanging resources in the form of units because the Chinese are going to have the advantage there. They have better trades in that regard.
Yeah, they have that very strong siege composition in the late game. Their bombard cannons have more range. They've got those nest of bees, which I think the general consensus is that mangonels are stronger up until the point where it becomes like mass nest of bees.
Yeah, it is that thing of like Chinese late game is literally just send resources in the form of units and hope that you win the trade, and you likely will.
Yeah, and actually, I guess like elite fire lancers, they're worth mentioning too.
Yeah,
They absolutely decimate ground armies, like you will see the HRE player have. So yeah. Oh, actually, especially because spearmen don't work for the HRE right now, so they can't brace against those. So yeah,
yeah.
the Muslim does not want to face fire lancers with this.
He is gonna be trying to finish this off. Like it's really weird because the time window for the Muslim, the Holy Roman Empire player, is very tight because you want to get to that age 3 as quickly as possible, just so that you have enough time between your age 3 and your opponent's imperial age, as the Chinese, to actually kill them off. Because if the Chinese get to imperial and they have a built-up economy, you're going to be in a very difficult position as a Holy Roman Empire. So you have a tight window of time, maybe like 10 minutes, to do a killing blow on your opponent.
I'm just looking at this right now. We have a stable coming out for Marine Lords. I'm very curious.
Putting out scouts on the field is a good idea. Hillandale has a lot of resources in the lower area that is also very open. And in this case, there are virtually no wood lines on that open area. So you're going to have like big fights that are going to be uninterrupted by terrain. So getting a couple of scouts out to put into those little stealth forest pockets is a good idea.
Yeah, and actually, because of the positioning of this mill, like that's really fortunate to be able to get your deer camp with the mill right at the start and like boosting it with the Imperial official. Obviously, they're going to be
Yeah.
feeling pretty good about that. I wonder if we're going to see maybe some pro scouts. Like, we're actually seeing
Yep.
the deer getting
Professional
cleared
scouts
now.
was researched.
Oh, yeah.
So
So that is the plan.
I am wondering if the Muslims saw all of his entries. He has 3, and right now he hasn't walled off one of them. He has planned to wall off 2 of them. So I don't know if that is a conscious decision or a little bit of an oversight on his part that
Oh, he
he
just doesn't
doesn't
have the wood
realize
for
that.
it right now.
Oh, he doesn't. Oh, yeah, he doesn't have the wood. Kind of unfortunate, but
Yeah, well, I
it's a
guess.
big investment on those walls.
Yeah, I guess, once you get these first 2, like, the villager will then be sent over to the other one.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not an oversight, because if it is, it could come and bite him in the ass eventually.
Yeah, and we came from a series that was quite action-packed from the get-go. This is a very big change of pace. Both
Yeah.
players just...
That is the nature of Hillandale, where you have those first few 10 to 15 minutes where very little happens.
Yeah, and I guess, Chinese are generally a sit back and macro kind of civ. They do have the options to be aggressive, but generally speaking, from what I've seen, they want to sit back, macro, get up to that like death ball army.
Yeah.
And in this case, the Muslims happy to just sit back and macro as well.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see exactly when these players want to expand from it, right? Because at some point you have to leave your base, either because your opponent is going to be trying to pressure you with the sacred sites, or simply because you want to go into the offensive, you want to exchange a couple of resources, see if you can break through your opponent hold.
I love this. This is this little small scout. I don't know if it's like a fight really. It's just they're just trying to like see who can get the
Skirmish.
deer. Yeah, they just want to get the deer, and MarineLord's actually done a really good job of picking up a lot of the deer on the center of the map.
Yeah.
It is Hill and Dale, so we're not going to see anything too out there as far as like, players going for the big scout plays. I don't know if you've been seeing any of the people diving TCs with scouts to get deer carcasses.
Yeah. The full Grand Theft deer.
Yeah. There's been a couple of those. It's just been really fun to watch, but no, so far, nothing quite like that yet. Oh, and the Muslim, they're gonna send out one of these prelates. I think they're gonna get ready to go and pick up a relic. Unfortunately, this prelate has run past 2 wolves so far. So, not going so well. When I was watching, one of the things I really enjoyed about watching State yesterday is every time they see a wolf, they immediately tag it with a scout. Because they just don't want to have to deal with them in the mid game. Even if they aren't playing against a Roost player, like they're not trying to deny gold or bounty or anything. They just don't want to deal with wolves.
It's one of those funny things where, like, strategically speaking, you kind of want to leave them alone, because if they're not attacking you, they're either not attacking or attacking your opponent. And both are good options. But obviously, killing them yourself is a good idea if they're really close to your base, right?
Yeah. But alright, the wolf is gonna be too big to although this other wolf might be though. Prelate's getting slowly bitten. I think the relic's close enough that isn't gonna be an issue, but this horseman over here, along with these scouts, one of the
Yeah,
scouts I
that
think
is gonna be enough.
Yeah, one of the scouts forgetting to drop a deer carcass earlier, apparently, and gonna smack him over the head with that. And
Just
down.
like me playing The Witcher for real.
Oh, and prelate goes down, and yeah, like I think you do need somewhat of an escort if you're gonna try and go for these
Yeah.
relics.
I think the main problem was that MarineLord did see that one of the prelates had taken a relic and went inside the Muslim base, so he knew where the other relic would be that the Muslim wanted to pick up, so he just sent that a force there preemptively because he knew that eventually a prelate was going to walk through there.
That makes sense. Oh, wow, they're both up at knights at this point, so... You know, I was thinking, oh, you know, there's this knight coming out from Demuslim that's going to be able to scare off a bunch of this army, but there are 2 lancers up on the field for MarineLord already.
Yeah.
And I think MarineLord just has the bigger knight count. I mean, most of this army from Demuslim is scouts, so they're not going to do well against the combined force of more lancers and some horsemen. And yeah, MarineLord's just going to say, no, that's not your relic, it's mine. Or at least it's neither of
Yeah.
ours. And oh, that scout, MarineLord does notice that scout had a carcass on his back and is going to send it back. I'll take a quick look at this base. Clockwork Tower, obviously, you really don't want to go for... Is it Imperial Palace, I think, is the other option?
I think Barbican of the Sun?
Oh, for age 3, sorry. All I know is that every Chinese player goes Clock Tower first, but yeah. MarineLord
Yeah.
has the Clock Tower back at their base. Are we seeing anything else in particular? I don't really think so. There's no blacksmith up, just a couple stables. And
No, just doing that economic build up to set up for the future.
yeah, they don't have a Barbican, so they're not even going for the is it the Song
For the
Dynasty?
dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even gonna bother with the Chuganu. Just gonna wait until the next one over for the Fire Lancers, probably.
Makes
The
sense.
Imperial Palace will be the next one.
And oh, they do have a monastery up, so they're also gonna start grabbing the relics on the map. And you know, obviously that's like a really nice thing to have, like that extra bit of gold income, but it's more about denying the gold from the HRE.
Yeah.
And not just the gold actually, you can put relics on
Oh, there's a
all sorts
big
of
raid
coins.
going on the Muslim base right now.
Oh,
MarineLord managed to sneak in his knights and lancers, pushed everybody off the wood line, and now forcing the Muslim forces to come back home and attack. And this is a pretty good fight. He's gonna get a couple of prelates killed here as
yeah.
well.
A couple prelates go down, a whole bunch of villagers go down, and I think the Muslims eventually going to force this out, but the damage has been pretty severe. Lots of villagers going down now. Lots of
Yeah.
downtime on those as well. And oh yeah, MarineLord's just like completely fine. Like the army,
Yeah,
they've lost a
this
couple units,
is
but they've done so much damage. They've caused so much havoc. All the villagers having to get like pulled off of their respective work lines. And it is
yeah,
gonna...
it's a perfectly good trade for him because it's also not a case of like giving up map control necessarily because you have those walls on your base and MarineLord is gonna be safe coming back to his base after this one. So just being able to come in and deal so much damage is perfect.
And the damage just isn't stopping. He's killed so many villagers. And yeah, you know, we've got the Palace of Swabi up now. So, you know, the extra like town centre there for MarineLord, but the Muslim... No, not for MarineLord, for the Muslim, sorry. But the Muslim lost so many workers. Down it! Oh wow, 24 villagers now. That is not a villager count you want to be at. And, you know, we're 48 for MarineLord. So, basically double on the side of MarineLord after that raid.
Yep. And the thing is, MarineLord has time right now. He doesn't need to worry too much about a potential attack or anything like that because he has enough walls. His walls are gonna keep him safe for a few minutes so he can just build nice and easy, switch his production up just enough for it. And he goes up with the Barbican of the Sun and goes into the Sung Dynasty for the Chuganu and the village bonuses.
And actually, while all this was going on, all the relics on the map have been grabbed.
Yep.
So MarineLords, they're going to be up on 3 relics, and I think Demuslim, yeah, they're on 2. Okay, so 2 isn't too bad, but it's not where you want to be as HRE. As HRE, you want like at least 3 because you want all of them for your landmark.
Yeah.
And like ideally, you want extra ones so you can drop them in all sorts of different buildings for different effects, but it's not going to work out that way. Demuslim just going to be on the back foot now at this point. Oh, but the heavy duty man at arms with the big maces are out, and the lancers, unfortunately, they just have to retreat. You cannot fight a combined knight man at arms army with knights. They will just get absolutely torn to pieces. But I think MarineLord's fine with that. I mean, sure, they're behind an age, but that's not too bad. They've got a bigger economy right now. Another town center coming up, so they're looking pretty happy about things. And they have they got 3 relics against the Muslims too. And they might even start going for these sacred sites. And that seems to be the case. Monk's walking over to the one on the left. And, you know, they still have map control. Crossbows coming out now to back up this army, so yeah, MarineLord's just looking really like they're in a good place.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see when MarineLord decides to go up the age. Because right now, the way this is, I think, the start of that window of time that I was talking about, and given the fact that the Muslim has not been able to keep a big force and is in fact going to be raided once again, could put like a bigger delay on that timing and make it that much more difficult to actually pull through. But we'll have to see what happens with this raid.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to try and go for some damage here. I don't actually think he needs to do too much. Because while all this is going on, sacred sites are getting taken, more map control to MarineLord. He just needs to keep the Muslim bottled up in his base. And, ooh, prelate goes down. So he's getting some nice little picks here and there. A couple villagers, a prelate. Crossbowman shooting the wood line. Just a whole bunch of damage.
Oh, and now the knights got in there. The lancers, I mean.
Oh yeah, they're in that wood line. They're doing a ton of damage. Crossbows are shooting the exact things they want to. These lower health.
Timing starts, so by 28 minutes, this is gonna be GG unless those sacred sites are neutralized.
Yeah, like if you just look at the worker count again, 50 for the Muslim. Okay, they're able to recover a bit. They got those 2 town centers, and 66 for MarineLord. Oh yeah, more villagers going down to these lancers. I actually think the Muslims should really grab the health upgrade for these villagers.
Yeah.
Obviously,
The one saving grace is the Palace of Suabia, allowing him to just mass produce villagers non-stop, since they're cheaper and faster to produce there. So he's gonna be able to keep up economically, but right now militarily it's very clear that MarineLord has an advantage for now.
Yeah, although they did just trade a whole bunch of army to do economic damage, and this is a big force of Landsknecht and elite man-at-arms. So maybe this is the timing the Muslim wants. Like, MarineLord just lost a whole bunch of army. They have a lot of infantry. So yeah, they're just going to be able to, I guess, run across the map, do some damage. The crossbow count's still pretty low right now for MarineLord, so they're not going to be able to pick off this army too quickly.
Yeah. Leaving one behind to neutralize that one, and another one for the other sacred site that is going to hold the timer and going to stop the gold income from MarineLord for now.
Yeah, although this one on the right hand side is still going to be in MarineLord's hand. And actually, something I've noticed, MarineLord is now getting all these economic upgrades. Wheelbarrow was done just a moment ago, and Horticulture rank 1.
Yep, switching to that rice farming. which for anybody who might not have known, there is a difference between the rice patches and the normal wheat patches for the farms. They act differently just a little bit. And the rice farms, now that they've adjusted the sort of hitbox for the granaries, are pretty good.
Oh, is MarineLord gonna get the stone wall up on time on the left-hand side? I don't think so. Oh,
He
it's
gets all
gonna
the
be so close.
foundations.
All right, foundations are done. Okay.
Yeah, and the infantry units cannot hit stone walls, so they will go up, and that will be a pretty good defense. I would be pretty scared if I live on those villagers, on those villages, dude. You're like just a couple of walks away from an absolute massive cliff.
Oh no. That's the bees is gonna catch.
Oh,
Oh, well, at least the first two man-at-arms took the brunt of that fire.
there
But
are a couple of really weak men at arms going around, and they're gonna survive it thanks to the spread formation, but oh, those crossbows now fully active and
oh,
hitting them.
yeah, more nest
No
of bee
amount of
fire
armor
coming
is gonna
down.
protect you.
Yeah, like they're just getting absolutely shredded. They do not want to be there. They just ran along the bottom of that cliff while they got shot at as well.
No.
Not a position you want to be in. Alright, but the Muslim actually has managed to take map control back. Like, while all that was going on, all the sacred sites went down. So, yeah, it's just very back and forth. Both players, you know, pushing, doing some damage, forcing defenses to be put up. MarineLord taking a lot less damage each time, but oh, they're still on age 3, and that I think is actually going to be like a real problem going into like the later game.
Yeah. Nest of bees again, though.
Oh, don't run! Oh, there's 5 of them.
Oh.
Oh, that army just died. Oh no,
Yeah.
they're all
And the
going
crossbows
down.
are gonna be able to just clean it up easy.
Yeah, oh, there's another wave of man-at-arms Lanchnet coming in, but nope, they see those nested bees are all still alive and on full health.
Yeah.
They're just gonna run away. Oh, that was really bad. That was a ton of damage. They didn't know... Like, MarineLord lost nothing there.
Yeah. The one thing MarineLord has lost, which is a little bit more abstract, is map control. Because at the moment, although he has that nest of bees and those crossbow, it's not like they can function without each other. It's not like he can have a force of like one nest of bees and a couple of crossbowmen go around the map and clean up the place, maybe keep the sacred site for his side. He has to play in a singular unit. He cannot afford to send small batches. And you can see on the other side, the Muslim is able to play like that. He has masses of like Lanchknecht and men at arms that are able to just go around and do a little bit of cleanup, scouting, those basic features. So it is that is giving the Muslim right now an advantage on that map control.
Yeah, and Demuslim, like, they just need to get into some kind of anti-siege like, composition. I think HRE get Culverin, so we could see them, or we could just see some Springolds come out. But they need something to deal with the nest of bees, because otherwise, like, you just can't throw waves of infantry at them.
Yeah, you can see the amount of barracks that the Muslim has is absolutely mind blowing. He has 9 barracks on the back of his base, and right now they're not all producing, but I would imagine that once a big fight happens and he is back to low numbers of units, then he will get all of those barracks just working overtime and producing everything back up to level.
Yeah. Oh wow, I'm looking at the this Palace of Swabia. Despite taking all that damage earlier in the game, like economy-wise, the Muslims pretty much equal.
Yeah, the palace was able to completely flip that. Yeah, the only worry for the Muslim is the nest of bees and the crossbowmen, and if he can clean those up rather quickly with some siege at some point, then he's gonna be in a much better position. Looking at his population right now, I would imagine that the Muslim will want to either have a fight or just sacrifice some villagers right now to be able to open up some population space for siege. Because if he doesn't, it is going to be kind of problematic to not have any siege in the field.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing he's doing that's really smart, and both people are doing this, is they're both fighting over these sacred sites and capturing them. Because every time that
Yeah.
happens, people are forced to come out. And oh, are we seeing? I believe that's an age up coming out. Yeah, Spirit Way's coming up for MarineLord, so they're looking to go into Imperial.
Yeah. This is going to be the timing for the Muslim. If he wants to win it, he needs to avoid the sort of game plan that is going to be coming up in the next few minutes of just produce units, send them forward. If they die, they die. You can still put out more units in the end. He needs to make use of the technological advantage that he has right now. You can see MarineLord going with just one Lancer to try and neutralize the Sacred Side at the other side, and you can see the almost like a fishing net of infantry units around it to try and catch those ones.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this is it does force all of these to come back. And like the Lancer can just run away. I mean, in theory it can run away. It can also... Oh no, it does actually get away in time. Takes a little bit of damage, but it's just going to get
I keep
chased.
going up by the Muslim on the other two sacred sites, and there's a pretty good keep to maintain that position.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're maxed out, like, that's the one thing you can buy more of is buildings that attack.
Yeah.
And I think we're even
It almost
seeing...
looks like a football match when you look at it. Just so many infantry units running around the field.
Yeah, and there's even, like, gulls with, like, the gates at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, MarineLord actually knocks down that palisade wall. They're going to get a stone wall up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got that on all three entrances. They just do not
He
want
also
to...
has access to the, I don't remember the name of it, but I think it's like the Great Wall of China or something along those lines. The
Oh,
Great
yeah.
Wall Gatehouse. So he could eventually put that up on one of those walls and have it buff that entire section.
Yeah, and that would unlock Fire Lancers? Because you can just
No,
go...
Fire Lancers would be unlocked with the Imperial Palace, which is the H3 economic landmark.
I thought you could go double age 4 and then there's something you can do to go back to age 3. Or like the age 3 dynasty even.
I think there might be, but I'm not entirely sure.
Or there's like a building that can do it. Chinese is very complicated.
Yeah, it's for people who like macro.
Yes. And unique units, because they have a heck of a lot of unique units.
Yeah. So timer for about 27 minutes or somewhere around there. So 37 minutes, I mean. Just about 10 minutes for MarineLord to get it together and push those sacred sites. He is going to have to push them. He's going to try to neutralize one, but the thing is that, again, this map control is going to be on the side of the Muslim for now, and a big force coming in from the northeast side from MarineLord for the neutralization of that. The keep is going to be there, but obviously the prelate will go down and the sacred sites could be neutralized, and two bombard cannons now hammering that keep.
Yeah, that keep is not long for this world. And yeah,
One single villager doing their best to try and keep it up, but it might not.
Yeah, you're not gonna keep a keep up against double clock tower bombards. Oh, and some villagers getting caught. They were just running into the wrong place.
Oh, 3 villagers go down though.
Oh, I think
to
that's...
that AoE Lemschkenek.
Yeah, I think that's like 6 total and an Imperial official. So a bit of a nasty loss for MarineLord, but they have this big siege army back and everything. Oh, wow, look at the amount of villagers that are on that front wood line. If you got some lance naked to them, they would get all just murdered.
Yeah. Just going back and trying to cower behind those walls, and the rest of bees pushing forward now.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oof, that was a lot of damage. Coming from those nest of bees. Oh. Lancers running forward. I don't know if you actually really need the Lancers to engage, and yeah, MarineLord is just running them back. realizes they just want to kill this
Yeah.
army from range. It's so, like, Landcheck are so good at killing units, but, you know, so are Nesta Bees. And that army is just completely obliterated. But the Muslim, I mean, the main thing they're just trying to do is buy time, right? They just want to keep these sacred sites up.
Yeah.
They're using their own bombards, takes out that keep. So MarineLord loses that. And even has defensive bombards, killing the counterattack there from MarineLords.
Yeah, those 5 bombards are going to be more than enough to stop anything that MarineLord wants to push up with his own bombards or keeps.
Oh wow, there's another 5 coming out behind them as well, so the Muslim on
Oh
that
my
10
God.
bombard count.
The Muslim is just absolutely going wild on production buildings. He has like 15 barracks, 5 siege warshops. I guess the idea of queuing is not popular with him. He just wants them now.
And MarineLord, he has this nice little siege force, but it's not going to stand up to 10 bombards, I believe. 11 bombards, sorry. And yeah, like, just so much damage. Ooh, 1 bombard pops out of that stone wall a little bit too preemptively, gets killed by the Muslims' bombards. And yeah, this is a very scary looking push. I think the Muslims gonna win this one.
Yeah.
All of these Lancers trying to counterattack just keep getting picked off by Man-at-Arms, Landsknecht, and now, yeah, there's forces inside the base of MarineLords. The Muslim.
Look at the amount of bombards. That is insane.
The keep just like goes down so quickly, and there goes the monastery as well. That was up at the front. Bye bye gold income. I think
This is like me playing Age of Empires 3, when all I wanted to do was build the big cannons.
and oh wow, the Muslim actually camping the spawn point for the siege for MarineLord now. So oh no, like just like cannons getting out of the clockwork tower, or the clock tower even, and immediately dying. And clock tower pretty much dead. Yep, there it goes. And now the Muslim, okay, they're losing some bombards, it's getting thinned a bit, but they've done so much damage to this base.
Yeah.
No more siege production, relic gold's been denied. The Muslims
There is
still at
no
200.
wood line for. There is no wood line for MarineLord right now, and there is no wood line near them either.
Oh, you're right. It's just these like stealth forests that are kind of near their base.
Yeah, that is why MarineLord was so adamant about pushing forward on that lower side, because he literally has no way to replenish his siege right now.
Yeah, and even, you know, you would not expect to see the Man-at-Arms like make it to the front line to be able to do damage to these Nesta Bees, but they are, and they're actually able to take down one, so the Nesta Bee count's getting lowered.
Yeah.
The Muslims just rallying like troops across the map now. Culverin's backing things up. They're going to be able to deal with the siege incredibly efficiently.
Yeah, this is a pretty hard position for MarineLord. It is gonna be interesting to see if he can come back from it, because it is just a constant stream of units. All of those production buildings are just pushing units forward. At this point, the Muslim doesn't care about resources. He just wants to get more units, more bodies into the front line and destroying the siege, because his opponent doesn't have wood. So anything that he burns that is based on wood, it's already a massive win for him.
Yep, and like he's built a keep on those wood lines over on the west side, so absolutely zero wood here for MarineLord. I think they managed to get 15 in the past couple minutes.
Yeah, if we look at the income per minute, you can see MarineLord has 45 wood per minute compared to the 1,000 from the Muslim. So
Yeah.
those crossbows are not going to be built because they need wood. The spears are not going to be built because they need wood. So every unit that needs wood is off the table, and MarineLord is off the table. It is going to be 1-1 for these two. They're going to be going into game number 3, a deciding game for this series.
Oh. And what a game. Like, MarineLord was doing so well for a lot of that. They did so well with those raids. Demuslim was at 24 villagers to 48 for MarineLord at one point. And I'm just gonna open up this timeline while I fix some things. Villager count, yeah, you can just see like when Age 4 happens, that massive raid that came in did so much damage, and then the Muslim just kind of shoots back up, and able to just like match villager count. So really nicely done by the Muslim. MarineLord to just, I don't know, I guess they just didn't hit that late game army composition they really wanted. And yeah,
I
running
think
out
it
of
was
wood.
also
Yeah,
running out of wood line was probably the biggest thing that put MarineLord behind, because he just couldn't get enough siege to overwhelm his opponent. And the Muslim realized that and went hard on things that destroyed things like siege or units that were wood-based, essentially.
Alright, I'm just gonna change my stream title. We could hop into game 3. I mean, I did notice that game had ended by the time we reached like the 5-minute mark, so we could like the set may have actually ended by now.
Let me check Wikipedia. I won't spoil it, obviously, but I'll check on Wikipedia if it is finished or not.
Oh, actually, I just looked. It is. Game 3 is already
it is
over.
finished.
So I mean, I'm happy to just leave game 2 there. I don't.
Yeah.
I might not even upload that one to YouTube. I'll just leave it on my Twitch channel. Because uploading incomplete sets is just very awkward. But
and for other results, we do have the Viper 2-0 in Lucifron and moving on to face Vortex. So we'll see if Vortex can avenge his brother.
I think that is starting very soon.
It says in 23 minutes or so. So I can check in the chat, see what they say. It doesn't seem like they have specified a time, but
they want all the quarterfinals to finish.
Oh.
That's a bit awkward. I would have thought they would just want the semis to start whenever both players are ready.
No, but it seems like we'll have to wait for the Mista versus I Am Magic, which is pretty interesting result so far. I Am Magic has gone one map up.